So I don't usually do videos like this. However, transfer window is open. Players are leaving. Players are being signed. But actually, let's look at the players that are currently in the Premier League and let's talk about the top 10 Premier League players right now. Now, this is done by as of the season just gone. There are some players that I suppose are in this list of the top 10 that have done more than just the previous season, because I think that's important to be putting them into a top 10. They've got to have done it more than one season, right? But in terms of their consistency and their level of performance and how good they have been of late, I've put together a list of top 10. Now, we are going to go from 10 all the way to 1. I will say this, get involved in the comments, please, but please keep it respectful, not just to me. I don't care if you disagree with me, but I've seen so much people getting so irate and hepped up about people's opinions of late. So if somebody has a different top 10 to you, guess what? They might not agree with you, and that's okay. You might not agree with my top 10, and that's also okay. So keep it respectful, please, in the comments. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're following Match Bingo or our sponsors. Obviously, QR code is there for you. Links in the description. Make sure that you do download the app. And make sure that you go for it. And let me know if you win, because a lot of people are winning on Match Bingo. And yeah, apparently it's easier to win than you think. So go and have some fun on that. Make sure you get some money. And let me know if you do so. The top 10 Premier League players right now. I have put a list together. And if I'm honest with you, it's going to cause some controversy. This actually took me longer than I thought. I thought naming 10 players would be easy. It turns out there's about 25 that you can name in the Premier League. Trying to narrow it down to 10 is extremely difficult. So let's get cracking. The first player in at number 10 that I have put, some of you might be shocked to see him this low because it's an Arsenal player, Declan Rice. I think Declan Rice has been an outstanding signing for Arsenal. For £105 million, nobody's talking about his price tag. He's been an absolute engine. Off the ball, he's brilliant. Interceptions, superb tackler, and one that you can rely on. His leadership qualities are clear to see for all. And I think that he's been a phenomenal signing for Arsenal. And some people might say, well, he hasn't won nothing at Arsenal. Well, no, none of the players have yet. But you can't tell me that he's not been a good signing and he's not lit up the Premier League. He's been brilliant in the 6. He's been great in the 8. He's been a box-to-box midfielder for the majority of it, using his engine and his athleticism. And I think when you look at what he does when he strikes a football, you can see he's got serious technical ability and talent. The free kick against Real Madrid will always go down as the best free kick I've ever seen at the Emirates. And for me, Declan Rice just has to get into this list. I don't think he is the best midfielder in the Premier League. I'm trying to be unbiased as I can. There are definitely midfielders better than him, but he, for me, is one of the best in the Premier League. And for me right now, is being spoken about in Team of the Year in Europe and Champions League Team of the Year. And certainly for me, one of Arsenal's best players in the last 2 seasons since we've signed him. So for me, Declan Rice goes in at number 10. At number 9 is a really interesting one because it's another midfielder, and it's probably the most underrated midfielder in the Premier League for me. I think he is absolutely exceptional, and it is one that I can look at in midfield and think, yeah, you should get more credit because you don't get enough. You're overlooked by some of the quality in your team, and that is, of course, Alexis McAllister. Now, I understand that there's brilliant players that play for Liverpool, but I truly believe he's one of their best. I don't know why people don't talk about him enough. I think he's been an exceptional signing for just 30-odd million. 34 million, was it, in the end, that Liverpool paid Brighton? An absolute bargain, a steal, very consistently good for Brighton, has taken it to a new level at Liverpool, and I think he's easily their best midfielder. And I think that the props are deserved for Gravenberch, for Jones, for Szoboszlai this season just gone. But for me, Alexis McAllister is easily Liverpool's best midfielder. I don't think it's even close. And I would say alongside the Salahs and Van Dijks of this world that he's probably right up there being one of the best that Liverpool have got. So I think for an all-round midfielder and one that does a little bit of everything, I think Alexis McAllister is one of the best in the league. So for me, he goes in at ninth place. Then we move on to 8th place. And again, it's another midfielder. It's kind of a battle of the midfielders down in the bottom here in this top 10. And when I say down the bottom in top 10, people will look at it and go, do you think they're not very good then? Do you know how hard it is to get into the list of the top 10? Try and do it yourself. Trust me, it is very difficult for who you leave out. But I have gone for another midfielder, and I think that I have to hold my hands up and say that he has been an absolutely phenomenal signing, and it is Chelsea's Moises Caicedo. He can do everything. He can play in the 6, he can play in the 8, he's got the athleticism, he's got the tackling ability, he's got a great passing ability. He's the guy that kind of makes them tick. He's an engine in the midfield there. And I think he's got everything that Alexis, McAllister and Rice has got, but maybe just a little bit more. He's also got age on his side. He can absolutely go to the next level, which is fairly scary when you look at what he's already doing at Chelsea. I don't think he had the greatest of starts at Chelsea, if I'm honest. I thought he was phenomenal at Brighton. I think now we're starting to see the best of him this season, and particularly in the last few months. I think for Chelsea, he's been phenomenal. I think he's been their best player, and I think he's also been their most consistent as well. And albeit he's had some bad games at the start, Declan Rice and McAllister have also had bad games. There's been Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes, who I could have easily put into this top 10 in midfield, but they just haven't quite been enough, in my opinion, consistently in comparison to these three. And I think that Caicedo just tips it for me. I think he's been exceptional and has probably been the midfielder of the year in the Premier League. So Chelsea have got an absolute gem there. No one talks like Declan Rice about the kind of money or the fee that was paid for him. So for me, Caicedo goes in. And I've got to be honest, I truly am jealous now that we didn't get him. And we were close to getting him. Let's not forget that. I know we ended up with Jorginho and people laughed and it was a very underwhelming and deflating signing in comparison. Although Jorginho did a good job, let's be real, for 70 odd million at the time, we really should have pushed harder to get Moises Caicedo, because with him and Rice, we would have had two of the best in the Premier League without a doubt. In 7th place, I have gone for Erling Haaland. Now, people might think that's crazy because he's in the top 10. People might think that it's crazy that he's not higher than 7th. But I've got to be honest with you. You cannot ignore someone who scores that amount of goals. You just can't. The guy is a gunman. The guy is a killer. And although he might have not had the technical ability of a Thierry Henry, a Sergio Aguero, Alan Shearer or Wayne Rooney, he will score similarly to them if he stays at Manchester City. And he will go down as one of the all-time Premier League top goal scorers. And you can't ignore that. The hardest thing to do in football is what? Score goals. That's what they say. This guy doesn't find it hard. Every season he's up for Golden Boot. Every season he's delivering. Even when he's not playing well, he's getting close to 30 goals a season. This is a player that will be remembered as Manchester City as a legend if he stays there for a long time. And he'll be remembered as the guy they brought in to win the treble, because that's exactly what they did with him. He is a phenomenon up front. And I don't like him. I don't particularly think he's great when you're playing against him. But do you know what he'll do? He's the sort of player that will score goals. He'll play well. And when he doesn't play well, he'll do 2 minutes and it'll be a goal. Haaland has to go in. I'm sorry, he does. He just has to for me. So he's in 7th place. I hope he has a dip in form. I just know he's not going to. He's a guy that will always score goals. He's not going to get to Ronaldo or Messi levels, but I truly believe he could get to Shearer, Andy Cole or Rooney levels if he stays at Manchester City. I just think that's going to happen. Then we come in at 6th place, and it is actually another striker. It's Alexander Isak. Alexander Isak, for me, has got everything up top. He is a player that everybody wants right now. He's a player that is being spoken about as going to Saudi, Liverpool, Arsenal been interested. Other clubs, I'm sure, Barcelona, even Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, they will all be interested in Alexander Isak because he is one of the hottest strikers in Europe. He is absolutely superb to watch. And what I do when I look at strikers is get excited about strikers that can get me off my seat, and he's one of them. He's on the edge of the seat striker. Haaland will score you goals, kill in the box. Isak can take it round everyone and put it in the top corner. Isak scores all sorts of goals. His technical ability has never been denied. His pace, his power, his finishing ability, the way he shoots and kick and pings a ball from outside the box, tapping inside the box, creating for his teammates. Alexander Isak is prolific. And in Europe, for me right now, I don't think there's many better than him. He has to be, for me, wanted because he's that good. And in the Premier League, that's why I've put him down in my top 6. In at number 5, Cole Palmer. Or Cold Palmer, as they like to call him. He's been a phenomenal signing for Chelsea. £40 million at the time, people were questioning it. It has been nothing short of a sensational piece of business. And Manchester City must be crying inside because they knew that he was a good player and they just couldn't keep hold of him for whatever reason. He's gone to Chelsea and he hasn't just done well, he's absolutely smashed it. The amount of goals and assists he scored last season were phenomenal. And even last season, people said he didn't have a very good year. Go and look at his goals and assists. In the Club World Cup, he turns up in big games for England, for Chelsea. He's an exceptional talent. And people have said to me, would you take him over Odegaard? Would you take him over Martinelli? Would you take... Yeah, there's only one player I wouldn't take him over in the Arsenal teams, of course, Bukayo Saka. Palmer is a phenomenon. He is going to be superb. And I think right now, in terms of the number 10, he's got to be one of the best in the world. I think he is absolutely exceptional. And I thought he might have been caught out this season just gone because he had a great season. And I thought maybe let's see what he does when 2 or 3 players are on him. And we saw in certain games that he struggled, but he turned it on. When the season mattered, he was there. So that's why Palmer walks into the top 5. Coming in at number 4 is my star boy, Bukayo Saka. I think we all see how important he is. When he was injured, Arsenal struggled. There was no one to replace him. There was no cover for him. Bukayo Saka is, for me, an absolutely ridiculous talent. For what he's achieved in the game already individually, you might not look at the trophies that he's won or the individual sort of top goal scorer awards you can get. If you look at how he's carried this Arsenal team across the line in results so far in the last 4 or 5 years, you think, wow, if you were in a team that was a Liverpool or City, you'd literally be picking up all the awards. That's how good he is. He turns up in big games. He scores against everybody. It doesn't matter if he scores goals now against Manchester City, Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham. He scored against all of them, but you know what else he's done? Turned up in the biggest of biggest games against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, and he scores. For me, he's completed everything that you need to at that age, other than one thing, winning. He deserves to win trophies. So Bukayo Saka goes in at number 4 for me. I've tried to be unbiased. I just look with my eyes and see that Saka is better than Palmer. Saka is better than Foden. Saka is better than Bellingham. In my opinion, he's the best attacking midfielder that England have got. Saka is a phenomenon, mate. And because people hate on Arsenal and they haven't won anything yet, Saka gets tarred with that brush. Well, he can't be as good as the others because he hasn't won anything. If it was about winning, then Di Matteo would be better than Arsene Wenger because he won the Champions League and Arsene Wenger never did. Let's just be realistic about it. Use your eyes. Who's a better footballer? Bukayo Saka is. He's been doing it since the age of 17, 18 at Arsenal. And he's really, really taken the ball by the horns and said, I ain't getting out this team. You're going to have to find cover for me. Mikel Arteta knows how exciting he is and how important he is to this team. So for me, it's clear that Bukayo Saka's in there. And he gets in at number 4. We go to the top 3 now. And in third place, it's a player that was out for the whole of last season. But there's a reason you win the Ballon d'Or. Rodri. I don't think I appreciated how much of an important piece of the puzzle Rodri was for Manchester City until he went out. Now, we saw the previous season before that he was out for 4 games and Manchester City struggled to win a game. My goodness, how good is he? I have seen some exceptional footballers in my time, and I honestly believe that Rodri, as a number 6 and a holding midfielder, a central defensive midfielder, whatever you want to call him, I think he's one of the best that we've seen in the Premier League. I really, truly do. And we've seen brilliant holding midfielders. Kante, Yaya Toure, Patrick Vieira, Roy Keane. In Europe, we've seen Pirlo and Busquets and these guys. For me, I think that he is right up there with some of the best. And that's why he's won the Ballon d'Or. I think he could play in every era as well. People say he's only good because of the modern game. I disagree. I think Rodri has been unbelievable for quite some time now. So Rodri, I think, has to be in there and he has to be high up. Because although I've talked about the Premier League players right now, I truly believe if you were picking a Premier League all-time 11 right now and picking a Premier League 11 of players that you can pick right now, Rodri would be in the conversation for both of them. One thing is certain, he's walking into everybody's 11 right now. He is the DM that you would all pick in your side. So therefore, he has to be in the top 10, right? And he has to be right up there because he, of course, won the Ballon d'Or. I think he is an unbelievable player. And I think that Manchester City didn't quite realise how much they were going to miss him until it happened. And boy, do they regret not replacing him now. He is a superb player. And I think when he does, hang up his boots, Manchester City will recognise him as one of their greatest players. I really, truly do believe that. So that's where I'm at. The last 2 now, the best 2 players right now for me in the Premier League. I don't think anyone will be too shocked, if I'm honest with you. In at number 2 is Virgil van Dijk. I think he's the best centre-half in the world. I think he is one of the most pivotal and important pieces of the puzzle for Liverpool, just like Rodri at Manchester City. I think that was clear that when he went out for that awful injury from Pickford, that Liverpool couldn't really seem to get their defence right. And it would be very interesting to see how they replace Virgil van Dijk and who with, because he is going to go one day. He isn't going to be able to play 50 games this season. And I think that Liverpool have really got to work out how they replace him because he's that important. I think it's been one of the best pieces of business that Liverpool have ever done. He has won them every single trophy there is to win. he'll go down as their greatest ever centre-back, in my opinion now. And I think when you look at Premier League quality, he's got to go down as one of the most, I think the best probably of all time, alongside the likes of Terry, Company, Rio, Adams, Campbell. You know, Van Dijk is right in the mix for that now, you know. Stam. I think Van Dijk is unbelievable. And to still be doing what he's doing now as well, consistently, to being that leader, to being that rock at the back, to keeping up with the game at 33, 34 years old, being a part of the modern game, I think he is an unbelievable centre-back that will be remembered for a long time. And right now, I think if anybody was to put a centre-half at the back, they're all picking Van Dijk. Ahead of Gabriel and Saliba, ahead of Kouyate, ahead of, you know, Diaz and Vardiol and all the other centre-halves you want to talk about that have been good over the last season or two. Virgil van Dijk walks into everyone's 11. And that's why he has to be up there. So for me, Virgil van Dijk goes in at number 2. Right now, that leaves us to number 1. And I don't think it's a shock to anyone who I've put in at number 1. The number 1 of the top 10 Premier League players right now is Mohamed Salah. And Mo Salah, for me, will be recognised as one of the best right wingers that's ever played in the Premier League. I think you can put him along some of the best wingers in the game, like Cristiano Ronaldo, like Eden Hazard, like Ryan Giggs, like Gareth Bale. I think for me, he's in that conversation. People will have their preferences, but for me, he walks into my Premier League all-time 11. 7 years, it's not 1 year wonder. 7 years consistently, the amount of goals and assists he scored for Liverpool, I think he's highly disrespected. I don't know why people don't appreciate what he does. I think he is an absolutely phenomenal footballer. And this season he proved it. Not only did he go and win the league, but the individual quality that he showed, the amount of goals and assists that he got will be remembered forever. And he's actually equaled the likes of the greats. You look at who he was competing with for those records this season. Andy Cole, Alan Shearer, Erling Haaland, Thierry Henry, all of these guys that have been seen now as Premier League GOATs other than Haaland and Salah who are still playing. They're all putting in numbers that, you know, are similar to those of Shearer, Andy Cole, Thierry Henry, Wayne Rooney, all these guys. When you're doing that, you're a Premier League great. I don't think he's the Premier League GOAT. I still have that down as Thierry Henry. But Mo Salah deserves to be number 1 right now. We have to say it. And although people might put Lamine Yamal as the best right winger in world football, they'd be right too. I think he's unbelievable. I think he's probably one of the best players in the world, if not the best. Mo Salah deserves credit because what he's done consistently, the numbers he's put up consistently in the last 7 years means that he goes in rightly at number 1. I hope you've enjoyed this. Let me know your order in the comments section. I'd be really interested to know. Anyone you think is crazy that I've missed out. Anyone you think it's crazy that I've put in. We can all actually get on about this. We don't have to like shout at each other and abuse each other. We can actually have a general football conversation and say, do you know what? I agree with that, but I disagree with that one. And then we all get on and we still love the beautiful game. Make sure you hit like on this one. Make sure you hit subscribe and we will see you on the next one. Take care, people.